Mastering SOC 2 vulnerability management. Its operational excellence hinges on total system integration. How does its organization guarantee that all of its systems, applications, and data are thoroughly incorporated into its vulnerability management processes to maintain operational excellence? The organization guarantees that all of its systems, applications, and data are thoroughly incorporated into its vulnerability management processes to maintain operational excellence by implementing a comprehensive and structured approach. This approach involves the following key components. 1. Asset management. The organization maintains a complete and up-to-date asset inventory that includes all systems, applications, and data. This inventory is regularly reviewed and updated to ensure that all components are accounted for and that the vulnerability management process is applied uniformly across the entire ecosystem. 2. Vulnerability identification. The organization utilizes a combination of automated and manual vulnerability scanning tools to identify potential vulnerabilities in its systems, applications, and data. These tools are configured to detect vulnerabilities in real time, and the results are fed into the vulnerability management process for further analysis and prioritization. 3. Risk assessment and prioritization. Identified vulnerabilities are assessed for their potential risk and impact on the organization. This assessment takes into account factors such as the vulnerability's severity, the likelihood of exploitation, and the potential damage to the organization's assets, data, and reputation. The vulnerabilities are then prioritized based on their risk score, allowing the organization to focus on the most critical vulnerabilities first. 4. Remediation and mitigation. The organization has a well-defined remediation and mitigation process in place to address identified vulnerabilities. This process includes the development of a plan to remediate or mitigate each vulnerability, assignment of ownership and responsibility, and tracking of progress against defined timelines. The organization also has a process for implementing temporary mitigations or workarounds for high-risk vulnerabilities that cannot be immediately remediated. 5. Verification and validation. The organization verifies and validates that remediation and mitigation efforts have been successful in addressing identified vulnerabilities. This is achieved through regular vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, and code reviews to ensure that the vulnerabilities have been properly addressed and that new vulnerabilities have not been introduced. 6. Continuous monitoring. The organization continuously monitors its systems, applications, and data for new vulnerabilities and potential security incidents. This monitoring includes real-time threat intelligence feeds, security information and event management, SIEM, systems, and incident response processes to quickly detect and respond to security incidents. 7. Training and awareness. The organization provides regular training and awareness programs for its personnel to educate them on the importance of vulnerability management, the risks associated with vulnerabilities, and the role they play in maintaining operational excellence. This training is tailored to the specific needs of each role and includes practical guidance on how to identify and report vulnerabilities. 8. Metrics and reporting. The organization establishes key performance indicators, KPIs, and metrics to measure the effectiveness of its vulnerability management process. These metrics are regularly reviewed and reported to senior management, providing visibility into the organization's vulnerability management posture and enabling data-driven decisions. 9. Third-party risk management. The organization has a process in place to assess and manage the risk associated with third-party vendors and service providers. This process includes reviewing the vendor's vulnerability management practices, assessing the risk associated with the vendor's services, and implementing controls to mitigate identified risks. 10. Continuous improvement. The organization continuously reviews and improves its vulnerability management process to ensure that it remains effective and efficient. This includes regular assessments of the process, identification of areas for improvement, and implementation of changes to address identified gaps. By implementing these components, the organization can guarantee that all of its systems, applications, and data are thoroughly incorporated into its vulnerability management processes, thereby maintaining operational excellence.